Hello, welcome pen friends. Welcome to Chris's Inked Pens for October 2023. I can't believe how quickly we've gotten here, but here we are. So I'm going to show you the pens and then we'll dive into my ink journal and I'll write with each one. And I also have the ink tiles for each of the inks that I chose. And then we'll head to the library and just talk about it. But I'm excited because I was getting a little bit bored with my inks and finishing up some of my favorite ones already for September. So I was thinking, oh, I'm bored with this, for letter writing especially. I don't seem to mind so much in my journal, but for letter writing, I end up eager for the next month's pens. So the first one, okay, I've got two new pens, new to me pens. Ooh, and I've got ink all over my fingers. It looks really nasty, almost Halloween-like, but anyway, we're not quite at Halloween. I've got two new pens here, and then everything else has been around a while, so, but they're kind of like some of my favorites for October. So this one, this is a Kara's Kustom Ink V2. That was sent by pen friend MS. Thank you very much. This is an amazing pen. It's metal, and anyway, it's got an extra fine nib. And when I wrote with it, I got a surprise. I mean, I just quick jotted out what I had in it, just as a quick test. And you'll be interested, I think, when we go in the ink journal. So it's in blue, and I have a lot to learn about this. This is the first time I've ever had a Kara's Kustom pen. I do get their emails, and I've been intrigued by them for a long time, but I just hadn't pulled the trigger on getting one. And wow, does it write nice. So anyway, thank you very much. And then the next pen is one that I wasn't going to get, but I kept seeing it, and I just kept thinking about how nice that one of my favorite blue blacks would look in it. This is the TWSBI Indigo bronze, and I got a medium nib because when I'm writing with blue black inks, that's usually what I'm doing, is writing with a medium nib. So you know, I do prefer a broad nib for letter writing, but this is working out, I think. Okay, then next up is a TWSBI Eco with a broad nib, and it's Jade. So that's the color of this one, and I've had that quite a while. I can't remember how long, but quite a while. And then next up, this was a gift also. This was a gift from pen friend VF, and she has a YouTube channel too. And as a little thank you, a long time ago, she sent 3 pens. I was looking for this Genhao 159. I had the orange one with gold trim, and I wanted the silver. And it's funny because I thought about using the gold trimmed one for October, but I still like this better. So anyway, it's right now got a broad Yo-Yo nib on it. Kind of needs its own spot in this tray because it's so wide. And then next up is a Lamy Safari Dark Lilac, and I have a black, I think it's a black Lamy broad nib in it. So, and a very, very special ink in it. So we'll get to that next. And then this is the Nemesis Singularity with its coral acrylic. This was also sent but by a pen friend, and I think I know who sent it, but in my inventory, I went into my inventory to make sure I was right, and it said anonymous. So that means they wanted to stay anonymous. So we'll do that. And I did go ahead and swap nibs from the Nemesis fine nib to a Goulet number 6 broad nib for it. I thought, I just want broad nibs for letter writing. So that's kind of what I was doing with that. And I'm excited about that because I've had the 0.8 Nemesis nib, the fine nib, and a few other nibs on it. Now I'm going to use a Goulet broad nib on it. So then next up is the, this was also a gift a couple years back from pen friend MB. And this is an Opus 88 Coloro in red, I think is the thing. And I have the broad nib unit in it today. I had to switch it because it had the medium. That's why I really love these pens, because they're easy to just swap your nib unit. They twist in and out, or screw in and out. And then at the last minute, I was like, what am I going to put this? I knew what the ink was that I wanted. And I just thought, which pen? And for some reason, I guess I had Opus 88 on my mind. I went and grabbed this one. This is the Opus 88 Omar. And I've got a broad nib unit in it. And it's actually kind of a dull color to have in a demonstrator, but that's okay. I guess I really like these Omars, and I love how they write. The nibs on them are really good. So let's get right into the ink journal, and we will write with each one of these. And just real quick before we start that, I wanted to show you these. These are the Wearingeul 4-photo color swatch cards. It's got impression paper, and it is kind of designed so you can compare colors and, you know, paint on your inks and see how they compare to each other. And I've got Lamy Dark Lilac, Diamine Pansy, Ackerman number 13, Simplicity's Violet, and then Diamine Botto's Hat. And I don't know if you're picking up the sheen, but it does show the sheen. That Lamy Dark Lilac came on real dark. I may have laid it on pretty thick. Anyway, I'm loving these cards, and I just wanted to show you. And then this one is from the Algonquin Maple at the top, and then I wanted to see how it compared with Pilot Momiji. And the Pilot Momiji has so much beautiful gold sheen, but I'm really getting worried because Ferris Wheel Press Algonquin Maple is a favorite of mine, and I was kind of torn between, because I'm using that bottle up really quick. Anyway, I wanted to kind of see. And then these two don't seem to really compare well. They almost look orange. I've got Diamine Cozy Up in the 3rd place, and then Van Diemen's Sailor's Delight in the 4th. So kind of goes from red to orangish. Anyway, I just really wanted to show you in case you were curious about those. So the first pen, of course, is the Karas Kustom ink. It said in the description, I found it online, ink V2, and this is an extra fine nib. And whew, it's a beauty. It just writes so pretty. And I put Bungubox Silent Nights, which is an interesting ink. I have it filed with my blacks, but it kind of looks blue in a way, sort of, to my eye and everything, and even in the camera. But I believe it's going to do what I wanted, which is sort of like a black, is what I was looking for. So we'll just get that in there. I am so impressed with this nib. I can't get over it. I thought, wow, where have I been? Started writing with it just in this little tiny, well, a page in the Hobonichi, an old one, and I was like, whoa, this is really amazing. It had feedback, but it had a good kind of feedback. So Karas, and as an extra fine, it actually writes like what I like as a medium, so it's really nice. Kustom ink. I'm confused about the name, but that's what it said online, and I'm going to stick with that unless I get corrected, which I might. So extra fine. And then Bungubox Silent Nights. And the coloring swatch said that the ink came from pen friend BH, and that would have been several years ago, so really cool. Nice little sample. And I wanted to, you know, begin really in earnest using up some of those samples that I've had for so long. So that's really pretty. It does come across as black, but when I look at it here, it almost looks like a really, really dark navy blue. So next is another blue, but it's Diamine Oxford blue, which is my favorite, really my favorite blue, in this new TWSBI Eco, which is coming across darker than it actually is to the eye a little, but I guess we'll have to live with that. I couldn't pass it by for some reason. I kept thinking how I really would probably have it inked up a lot if I got it. So I got the medium nib. Okay, so this is TWSBI Eco. That's Princess. Uh-oh, she got stuck inside, I guess. Indigo. Bronze. Or Z, I guess. Medium. With Diamine. Just a minute. Princess, it's okay. I like to have her have little breaks from being outside too much because it's been so hot. But I guess that she understands that. Okay. she comes in for supper, I let her, you know, I kind of arrange for her to stay in longer. Okay, so next up is, excuse me, another TWSBI Eco in Jade with Monteverde Olivine. I wanted a green. This was kind of the palette I was working with. My stickers that I'm using for Pen Pal are this, and I just kind of wanted a green, but I didn't want it to be quite as bright as this green. I wanted a little bit darker. And so these were the kind of colors I was sort of pulling from. And this is where I ended up. And this is a broad nib on this TWSBI Eco. I'm actually really pleased with this. It may come across a little bit brighter in the writing, I'm not sure. TWSBI Eco Jade, broad nib, and Monteverde Olivine, and I believe this was the sample was from Pen Friend SV. Long time back, and I've been working on it. It was a nice, generous sample, like many of them are that I've gotten, and so I'm still finishing that up. Okay, then next for my orange, I chose a very dark orange. I chose a sample Diamine Cult Pens Deep Dark Orange, and I put it in this bright orange pen, but that's okay. I don't have very many orange pens, and I really wanted an orange one, so. And this is really all that I enjoy is a nice dark orange when I'm writing letters. I don't really want, even though I like Diamine Pumpkin, it's just too much. So this is Jinhao 159 with a broad Yo-Wo nib. This was tuned or something, I think, by James Phineas over at where I got the Serendipity, and now all of a sudden I'm a blank on their company. They've retired, unfortunately. Or happy for them, but not for us. Okay. Diamine. Why am I coming a blank about pensive pens? But it's probably not going to be found. Or called. I understood that they retired. Diamine and Cult Pens. Deep. Whoa, that's a gusher. Dark orange. I'm going to enjoy it because I really like a fire hose. So there, nice. Very nice. It's a dark orange, but I think this will look really good on Tomoe River paper, and also I'm finishing up some Cosmo Airlight for letters, so that'll be good too. And next up, a very special ink that I have a sample of thanks to my generous pen friend MW. It's Lamy Dark Lilac, and I did put it in the Lamy Safari Dark Lilac. Oh my goodness. Blanks drawn all over the place. And you know, I really conserved this because even though it was a super generous sample in like a 10 ml vial, I know that it won't last forever, and I want to, you know, kind of like, I don't want to hoard it though and have it go bad or something. So I thought Halloween and October and possibly the first cool day. It hasn't come yet, but it will. It should be a good time to do it. To use this ink. Dark lilac. And broad. A black Lamy broad nib with Lamy dark lilac. And this this has this beautiful gold sheen that turns up. Now, it doesn't show as well on this card, I don't think, but on this Tomoe River paper, and when I write my letters, I'm expecting that it'll give a nice sheen. It always does. I think it even did over here. Let's see. Well, it's going to be hard to pick it up with the lighting I have right now because it's getting into the early evening hours here. So, okay, so that is that one. It's probably still drying because that was really going on wet. Okay, next up, I put a brown ink in the little Nemesine Singularity. And this is new to me in terms of using a Goulet broad nib in this pen. That's why I love when you can switch, you know, you can pull and switch number 6 nibs. This is one of my favorite pens. It's lightweight and it's reliable, and And it's one of my favorite nibs too. I got it off a Genhao X750 that's been on for a while. So, Nemesine, Singularity, Coral Acrylic. Thank heavens for my inventory because I forget these things. Broad nib, we'll put Goulet. Yeah, just barely fits. And Sailor, 50 States, Texas. Okay, ooh, my favorite brown. And very nice fall color. Very, very nice. I just love that ink. And then next up is my favorite kind of fall red that's sort of a, I don't know, it reminds me of the reddest foliage in Vermont. And I love it in this pen. This is the Opus 88 Coloro in red. And broad nib unit that I just moved back onto it. Oh, I just love this one. I know, I mean, when I filled it, I tried to, well, I still probably put half. I probably could have filled it up. Of course, I think I didn't because I want to make sure I don't waste a drop of this ink, and then I can always put more in. So, Opus 88 Coloro. Oh, my nails look terrible, but it's brown and red ink that got into my nails. I just look like, I have got like bruising or something. Coloro, red, the broad nib. And Ferris Wheel Press. Algonquin Maple. Now, I realize I really love the name of this ink too, but in this case, it's not just the name. I really love how flowy it is and how it's sort of a red that kind of leans orange in a way, and it's gorgeous, but it flows like crazy. It goes onto my CVS caliber paper so nicely. Whoops, I was noticing that maybe I had a little bit of dirt, something on this. I want to make sure I clean that off. Okay, so next up is one I've had around here for a long time. This is Birmingham Jack and Jill, and it's been around so long. Let's see, where did I put the, here it is, that it was from their pen parcel back when they were doing samples. I really wish they still did samples, but I've been very blessed by pen friend Kathy that she sends samples, but this was from so long ago that it was actually from one of their pen parcels. And it's another one of those I'm trying to, use up some of those older inks. I don't want them to dry up or change in any way. And I wanted a lighter brown. I was kind of looking at this, but I didn't match it in any way. Maybe where that pumpkin is a little bit. I don't know. Because I didn't really want a gray. I wanted kind of a chalky brown. And that's what this is. And then I think I'm going to be pleased with how it looks in this Opus 88 Omar with a broad nib. I put a sticker here to try to discourage myself from going and doing another one. I just really think if I stick to 8, I do better. I can get really overwhelmed with 12 pens because I'm trying so hard to use the whole fill and then, get 8 more for the next month. So this is the Opus 88 Omar, one of my favorite pen models. I like the nice chunky section, and I like the capacity of the eyedropper. I like the looks of the pen, the weight, everything about it I like. So broad, clear. That way I'll know which one it was, because I think I've got 3 Omars. So this is Birmingham. I'm really pleased. This is the color I wanted. It was sort of a chalky, kind of it looks like that Necco candy that we used to have. Jack and Jill. I have had this for a long time. Okay, so that's it. Those are the 8 pens and inks for October. And I kind of think the palette looks really pretty, but I'm going to lay out the tiles and we can look at those too for a second before we go to the library. There, okay. So, I've got what's going to pass for my black. It's probably a a super navy blue kind of ink, but the Bungubox Silent Nights. And then, let's see, that's that extra fine nib that I think is going to pass as a medium. So I've got two really nice for, well, note-taking and writing in my journals. But I believe, I don't see anything here that I wouldn't be happy with writing a letter with. Because as long as it's not too thin of a line, and I didn't see anything that came out too thin for writing, you know. Sometimes I just don't want to write with a pen when I'm writing a letter if it's too fine of a nib. But I don't see anything here that'll give me trouble. And then, I mean, I really like all these colors. I like the green. It's not too bright, and it's not too like St. Patrick's or anything. It's more fallish to me. And then the Lamy Dark Lilac is just such a treat to write with whenever I can. And let's see, where's that little... I call them bookmarks. Gosh, I lost it already? My goodness. Oh, that's awful. I just showed you guys. You know, these. Oh, here they are underneath. Okay. You know, I noticed that the Diamine Mombado's hat might be a good kind of, especially in a nib, because it's nice and dark like a Lamy Dark Lilac. So, but I like these. I was saying I like them for bookmarks, like as if I'm contemplating inks and comparing them and stuff. And if you want to send one to somebody, showing them, hey, these are, what do you think of these, you know? And I happen to be in a position where I sometimes do that, like try to show someone how an ink compares. Wow, I am all over the place. And then this, you know, I almost rethought this because it looks kind of like rust colored almost instead of orange, but it's the orange I want, you know, for letter writing. I think it's going to be good, but I can always, you know, switch it if I need to, brighten it up a little, but I hate to go much brighter. And I use my KWZ Monarch so much that that's going to end up on the, you know, extinct list like Algonquin Maple pretty soon if I'm not careful. So, and that I had to order from, you know, from Fonto Plumo in the Netherlands, so I don't want to have to do that again. Yeah, and my two browns, one being kind of warm, medium brown, and then this other one, you know, just, I don't know, it definitely evokes fall for me. It makes me think of fall in Vermont, you know. So I think it's good. I think the colors will please me, and I think everything, I mean, the pens are interesting. I've got two new to me pens and then some that I'm very familiar with. So I think things are going to be a lot of fun. But I guess we'll head over to the library now so I can talk to you face to face for a few minutes. There, I made it. I relocated to the library. So I will come back on mid-October with a progress report and let you know how those 8 pens and inks are doing. And I look forward to that because it makes me really dig deep into the details and get into the ink journal with each one and really explore. Most of those inks I'm pretty familiar with, but there's 2 new pens and there's the new color combinations for me. So, and then as far as how September went, I had, well, clearly 2 favorite pens, and that was the Pelikan M800 with, I think, let's see, what did I have in here? I had the Pilot, I was going to say a Diamine Oxford Blue, but no, I had Pilot Asagayo in here. And then also the Benu Talisman Mandrake with, this time I put 50 States, Sailor 50 States Louisiana, which is kind of a really beautiful, like purpley magenta color. So this is just almost out. It's almost ready to be cleaned. And then I have a whole tray of pens ready to be cleaned over by the sink. So there, take a breath, Chris. Oh my gosh, I'm wound up because I'm hearing her, but some of these evenings I just kind of let her settle down, and as soon as I go and start reading, she gets up on her perch right behind me and she stays in. And I kind of like that better because she's a little tricky when it gets real breezy and nice in the evenings. Then I have a little bit harder time getting her back inside. That's a Princess, our she was Willie's best friend, and definitely they ran together, and he never would come back in for the night, but she's not, from the day that he passed away on, she never spent another night outside, and never, she won't do it by herself, and I'm very grateful for that, because I never even thought I would have a an outdoor cat, but that's how it's turned out. So, and Coco's doing really well. He's on a little bit of a diet, and at first he was really upset, like he would take his bowls and grab them and throw them across the room, and he was wanting to eat more often than he should, and so forth. He's still right now on the same food, but we may have to change him if we don't have any progress. But the main thing with him is just making sure that he eats sort of controlled amounts at certain times, and that's tough. I've never really had a cat I had to do that with, but with him I'm having to do that, because holy cow, I don't want him to be unhealthy. So we're working on that, and he's adjusted quite a bit. I was really happy today. I think this is day 6 of being much stricter, and he's really beginning to adjust, so I'm happy about that. Our cold weather is not here yet. Our cool weather is not here yet. And most days we haven't even gotten out of the 100 or 103 heat index, but it's coming. It's certainly better than it was. I'm finding I can work outside for a whole hour now. So usually from either 9 to 10, or because you have to wait for the grass to dry, or I have to wait then until about 6:30 or 7, and I can work till 8. So that's pretty good, because as hot as it was there for a while, I could only do like 15 or 20 minutes at a time. So my writing has been going really well. Right now I have 5 letters in my reply pile, in my pen pal, so that's going really well. I've gone through a little bit of a, I don't know what you'd call it. I've been blaming it on the weather, but I don't think that's really legit. I think it's just sort of, well, I guess we'll just blame the weather, because it's easier to blame the weather, and because I know how I'm like the dead come back to life as soon as the first cold front comes in. Like if we have a cool front that brings the temperatures down, you know, into the 60s at night even, and the 80s during the day, and the air is drier, I noticed that will sustain me for a week and a half. You know, then if it goes back up to hot again, it's different. It feels different now. I've had a relief from it. But it can sound like a broken record too. We've got a lot of things we want to do and complete, and find out whether or not we're going to have to hire to get some of these things finished, which we just can't do till we can get out in the garage and work, and it's totally not air conditioned out there. So but we're both well, and the cats are well, and we're still living and everything, you know. And today what happened was I was highly motivated to go ahead and ink different pens, but I wasn't you know, I haven't completely finished all of my pens. I've got like 4 that still have a good amount of ink, but I'm bored with them. So I just thought, well, go to your desk and just see what happens. And I actually went to my pen desk thinking I'd write a letter, but once I got there, I realized what I really wanted to do was start deciding which inks, and that helps me figure out which pens. Except for I wanted to try the Kustom, you know, the blue pen, no matter what. And I definitely wanted to ink up the TWSBI Indigo Bronze Eco right away. So I did that. And then I just got on a roll. And next thing I knew, I had everything figured out. But I kept it to 8. And there were a couple things that tempted me to go beyond that. Like I thought, well, I don't have a pocket pen inked up. But I told myself, let's clean out the ones that need cleaning out. And because I ran right through that Jinhao 80 and the 82, and what else was it? I ran a couple of them dry really fast, and so that gave me, like, I didn't have a red anymore, and that maroon color that was so pretty, and I started to realize, I'm just bored with my colors. So, but do better if I kind of keep some structure, you know, 8 to 12, and kind of switch out at the beginning of each month. So I hope that you will have a great October. I'm looking forward to it. October, November, December, January, February, March, and then we start kind of question marking April. It's the half of the year coming up that I like the best here in Texas. It's the half that's not hotter than HE double toothpicks is what it is. But I haven't been like this since I was young. Moved down here, I guess I was 28 when we moved down here, something like that. And I remember just like thinking, I'm not going to live through August. I'm so sick of this, you know. And then I kind of got better the last, like, say 3 years. The summers didn't bother me that bad. So I don't know. This was an exceptional summer, but then I found that it was my attitude as well. So I'm still reading the paperbacks, but I'm looking forward to getting into a little bit more meaty reading as it gets cooler, and the cats will even be with me more. Coco's already started to get on the couch with me. Excuse me, in the evenings. He gets a little bit chilly. I don't know. The air conditioning does better. You know, you a little bit goes a long way whenever the temperatures start to fall below 80 outside. So in the evening. So God, all I can talk about is the weather. That's crazy. That's really nuts. But yeah, and fellow Texans and other Southern and everywhere, gosh, everywhere this year. It's not just down here that's been so hot. But I need to talk about something else. What's another topic? I usually do an index card, and I have it right with me. And that way I kind of think about what I'm going to talk about. But this time the most important thing was making sure that I stick to my structure and get my video done. I like doing that. And I like discussing in the comments what everybody's inking with and what's going on. Oh, let's just talk about upcoming just a little bit. So the ink event will be coming sometime. I think it's like mid-October, but I'm not sure. And I pre-ordered from Atlas on that. So that'll be coming. And I did not need ink. It's just that I had FOMO. I thought about my kind of fear of missing out or fear of changing my mind. And I couldn't do that, really. I needed to kind of decide because it was channel funds that I used. And I needed to not, you know, I needed to either earmark it and wait, but I didn't want to do that. So I pre-ordered and I used someone's discount thing. So I got 10% or, well, it brought it down below $100. So that was wonderful. Oh my gosh. You know, that was just wonderful. Still rambling, aren't I? And as far as what's next coming up, I'm still going through every color and every one of those shell boxes, trying to look for inks that are basically all gone, or that, you know, where I see that as premium space. There's 25 spaces in each of the shell boxes, and I have pretty much all the major colors represented. So I try to make sure that what's going into there is what I really want to write with and want to have available for samples. And then all my bottled inks are right in front of where I work on those spice racks, and also on my rolling cart, the larger bottles. I thought about getting another set of 2 of those spice racks, but then the bottles are bigger and it wouldn't really hold as many. So I'm still kind of holding off on that, just kind of thinking about it. But, and I've been trying to be balanced, but during the summer when I had to work, I had to try to do the yard, and I could only do 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes at a time. It was really getting kind of frustrating, you know. So that it seemed like I was getting all sweaty and having to like come back in, completely shower and change every single time I would work outside. So, we're back on the weather again, but that's crazy. Okay, I think this is plenty enough to, you know, ignite the fires of October and get excited about writing. I am. I'm really excited about the inks and pens that I've chosen. And I keep 2 trays that look just like that one that I showed, you know, my pens in today. And so I'll be using up some of the other ones, and I'll keep the new 8 ones. They're going to be for my October letter writing right out front and center, but the others I'll probably continue in my journal, just a few. Like, I still have a little bit of ink in the Kaweco Brass Sport, and I love that pen. That won't last long because that double broad goes right through the ink. And I'll be back in the progress report and let you know, did I stick to these 8 pens for October, or did I go hog wild again, or what did I do, and how did they work out? So let me know in the comments anything you want to talk about, or what you're inking up with, pens, inks, projects. I love to hear about it. That's why I've kept this channel, I'm sure, is because I want to have contact with other like-minded pen friends that are in the hobby and interested. And even if I completely run out of, motivation or whatever, which I never seem to, it comes in waves, but I still want to be here because I want to be in contact with fellow hobbyists. And I don't have a pen club yet, and I haven't been to a pen show yet, but we have YouTube. So as long as it's here and we're all here, it's good. 36 minutes. I will see you in the comments, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now, and thank you very much for being here. If you haven't subscribed and you like content like this where people talk about fountain pens, inks, and all things related, then please subscribe, and that way you'll know when a video comes. Bye for now.